Welcome to Running Plays with Coach P. Wade. I am Coach P. Wade, and today we're going to do something a little bit different. I decided to start a few episodes where you all get to know me a little more. I know I come on here, I coach, I talk about, I give advice, I give insight and different things like that, but I want to give you all an opportunity to get to know me a little bit better. So on this first episode of Getting to Know Coach P. Wade, what we're going to talk about is my work experience, history, expertise, and all the things that led me to becoming Coach P. Wade. So I'll go ahead and start off. A couple things that you all may not know about me. We're going to go through my work history, and I'll talk a little bit about where I started and where I am now, as far as where I'm at in my career, also where I'm at in my business, and different things like that. So we'll start off and go back. We won't go way back to my first job, but we'll go to my job that I had in college, just so you all can get an idea of where I learned some of the things that I've learned. As far as I'm into a lot of tech things, I'm not like the biggest tech geek or anything like that, but I am pretty tech savvy. So my job in college was working at Best Buy. What was the slogan? Having fun while being the best. And that they lived up to that. When I worked at Best Buy, we had a lot of fun. So if you're young, you're in college, if you're someone out here trying to just get into a job where you can learn some things that you may not be familiar with, where they have a good culture, things like that, I would highly recommend Best Buy. So I worked there for, I guess, 2 years while I was in college. What was my job? I worked in digital. It was called DiTech, so digital technology. So I worked with computers. I learned all about computers. I worked hand in hand with the Geek Squad. I also worked where you learned about cameras, so digital SLRs. And then I became like a floater because I learned about everything in the store. So I was a person that got to get called to each department. So whether it was TVs, whether it was car audio, computers, appliances, whatever the case may be, I got to handle that department, which was pretty cool. And I think it gave me an edge when it came to working with electronics and some of the jobs that I held after that, because, of course, you're going to deal with POS systems or handling different things when it comes to technology. I was usually a person that was able to connect the screen for a meeting and different things like that that might seem small, but when you're that person that could raise your hand and step up in a big meeting and say, hey, I got it, I can connect it. If you see a leader, a boss having an issue with some tech issues, hey, if you that person that could save the day, it's always a good thing. So highly recommend learning tech. Today it's AI, different things like that. So if you're young and you're watching this, or if you're a little older and you're trying to figure out maybe a career to get into, IT's always good, tech's always good, coding. I never went that far, but definitely a good lane that I would recommend. So after college, I graduated and got my degree in health and human performance. So I graduated from Austin Peay State University in Clarksville, Tennessee. I went to a few other colleges prior to that, which I'll talk about in another episode, but that's where I got my degree. And I thought I was going to go into personal training, or I thought I was going to go into physical therapy, something along those lines. I wasn't sure. I started an internship at Anytime Fitness. If you're familiar with that, it's a 24-hour gym. Pretty cool stuff. Learned a lot. Just learned a lot in college. Kinesiology, hardest course. I'll probably talk about that in a different video. But I did my internship doing personal training, and it was cool. But I was applying for jobs. Couldn't find a job there. I've seen an ad, or I believe, my cousin told me about a job. Then I went to go on the job board, seen the ad about Enterprise Rent-A-Car. They hired for anybody that had a bachelor's degree. And they really wanted former college athletes. They like athletes. Boom, I was both. I was a former college athlete, just received my bachelor's degree. So I was like, hey, I'm going to go work at Enterprise. I decided to apply, got the job, and I began my career there as a management trainee. That was a manager trainee. That was a position. Man, Enterprise teach you the in and outs of running a business, whether it's a business as a corporation, or if you're going to run your own business. And this is where I became business savvy. Didn't know I liked business, didn't go to school for business, but I learned a lot. So I worked at Enterprise Rent-A-Car, manager trainee, then I moved up to management assistant, then I moved up to an assistant branch manager. I traveled to different branches. I started in Clarksville where I graduated, started working in Nashville. And then I eventually ended up getting promoted, and I was branch manager at Enterprise. So I ran my own branch. I mean, you gotta know the overhead. You get paid off of everything. Great job. Taught me a lot about um, managing, not only managing a business, but managing people. And I learned a lot about sales. Believe it or not, Enterprise is really big on sales and customer experience. So I did that job. Worked at Enterprise about 3 years. Financially, it wasn't where I wanted to be, but I didn't know where I wanted to be. I was probably 24, 25 at the time. Yeah, I worked about 3 years, about 25. And I decided, you know what, I don't know what I want to do, but this isn't it. I didn't feel like the amount of money I was making for the amount of hours was adding up. So I was like, I'm going to take a stepping stone position until I figure out what I want to do. And I went, and for 9 months, I worked at a college, a technical college, Miller Mott Technical College, to be exact, where I worked in the Office of Admissions. So I would talk to the young individuals that were coming into school, trying to figure out what they wanted to go to school for, if they wanted to go to school, and then I would help them get into the college. That was a pretty cool job. Wasn't as fun, but I got to talk to a lot of young individuals, which that was something going in the bucket of I like this. But just sitting at a desk, I remember I had a friend that worked across from me. Her name was Mary. She was like, "This isn't for you." Had another friend, Deandra. She was like, "Yeah, Patrice, you should be in like sales or something." And I'm like, "Yeah, sales is cool, but I'm trying to do something with my degree. I thought maybe I could come to this college and do something." They were like, "This ain't for you." They were right. So one of my friends, Deandra, she told me about her brother who worked at Verizon, and he was a sales consultant. And she was like, "Yeah, he's making like 70K." And I'm like, "Cool, that's more around the range I expect to be making right at this age. 25 years old, got my college degree. The American dream, right?" So I move on. I go work, not at Verizon. I applied for Verizon, and Verizon was not hiring at the time. So AT&T was. And I'm like, they're very similar. The job descriptions were pretty identical. I went to apply at AT&T, got the job, retail sales consultant. Boom, start of my career that I didn't know was going to be a career. So I started as a retail sales consultant. I remember this was in 2013 when I started. The people that worked at that location, they were like, "Yeah, you used to make a lot of money here, but now everything's saturated. You can't make money. You ain't going to make that much money." Fast forward, I made pretty good money. My first year with AT&T, I made 70K, most money I ever made in my life at that time. So I'm like, hey, and they were like, they didn't realize you could make that much money still, but I had acquired some skills at Enterprise that allowed me to be one of the greatest salespeople, I believe, which led me to being one of the top 1% in the company with AT&T at that time as a sales consultant. I became a great seller, a shark, a beast, the GOAT, whatever you wanted to call it. That's what I was. And then the cool thing is I started teaching my peers because I had people that worked with me at the same time making 30K less. And they're like, "Hold on, how do we come do the same job and you're making 30,000 more than me?" And I'm like, "Let me show you how." So I love teaching the people. And what happened after that, a lot of my leaders saw how well I was at teaching people, which it wasn't new to me because I had the Enterprise experience, but it was new in this arena. So they were like, "Patrice, you should, get promoted." And I'm like, I'm cool making this money right now. It was new money to me, y'all. I was excited making my 70K. I ain't gonna lie, I was good. And finally got convinced to go for an interview for assistant manager positions. Got declined 9 times, so I went to 9 different interviews and was told no. You don't have the leadership capabilities. And I'm like, hold on, they don't even know my past, but it's cool. For some reason, I had got to a point where I don't think I was articulating what I was capable of in my interview. So, I don't knock them for not hiring me. And that was just part of my journey. But fast forward, I ended up becoming an assistant manager about 3 years after I was with AT&T. I did assistant manager, rocked out at that level for about a year. Taught all the people on my team so many great selling strategies. I was a great coach, I believe, even though I was going through a rough time in life at that time. Ended up getting promoted to a store manager. So I was a retail sales manager with AT&T, had my own store. My first store, I killed it to where I remember we were last in the market when I got that location. And I ended up bringing it to being number 1 in the market and consistently. So I became a GOAT as a manager in this AT&T world. So it was great. I did my thing. I got promoted to another store, a bigger store, what they call, we're just gonna call it a larger store. I'm not gonna go in too much detail, but it was one of the busiest stores in the state of Georgia, second busiest store. They were like, hey, we know this store can do well. We think you'll be a great fit here. I did very well, coached a lot of employees, helped a lot of people get promoted and get to positions that they wanted to be in, either within the company or outside of the company, whatever worked better for them. But that's where a lot of my coaching skills came in at. And I really realized how much I love coaching and helping others. That's when I really truly realized it. It was in that position. Fast forward, I get promoted again. I kept going, y'all, kept climbing this ladder. I end up becoming an area manager, where I had, I guess, close to 200 employees. I'm now managing leaders. I'm doing Metro Atlanta, big area. Had a great time. I created something great there, which led me to another promotion. So I ended up going into headquarters into our organization, where I no longer had employees. And I'm going to tell y'all how it leads to where I'm at today. I no longer had employees because the position I acquired at that time just required more of my creativity, me planning, creating processes, different things like that. So I get this job. Of course, it's elevating financially, different things like that. But what it doesn't have is the fulfillment that I didn't know I needed at the time of being able to help others progress in their career and on their journey. So that's kind of where over a course of time, it took me about 2 years on my journey to get to that point to where I realized, okay, I can't do it at work, but I still want to have this job title. I like the financial stability, different things like that. You're great at your job, so you don't have to quit it. So go ahead and start a business. So the business I decided to start was a business I have today called Navigate Your Next, where I coach people, adults and children, so coach or mentor, and I get to help them, and that still gives me that fulfillment that I was missing or that I enjoyed previously in my roles. So that's how I became Coach P. Wade. I decided to go ahead and get my life coaching certification, and now that's what I do. I'm also a motivational speaker, something I always wanted to be, and I'm just out here working on getting more engagements, speaking to individuals, helping people, and I feel like I know that I am in my purpose. I know that this is the journey I'm supposed to be on. And when I'm speaking, I'm a vessel, and I truly believe that. All the things that I've been through, all the experiences, through the different job titles I've held over the years have led me to this and have given me the expertise that's required to do this and to be able to help others on their path to success or on their path to happiness or on their path to financial freedom, whatever it is for that individual, going through things, overcoming obstacles and adversity, the challenges that life is going to throw at you and how to, get through that and persevere. That's what I've learned through my journey, through my career since the beginning, since my job at Best Buy. So I'm going to leave it there. I believe I touched on every career or every job title that I've had. I don't think I'm missing anything. So now today you got me, Coach P. Wade. I love what I do, speaking to people, helping people, impacting and serving. That is my purpose, and that's what I'll continue to do. So I hope you all like this segment, getting to know me a little bit more. I'll come back at you. You all can shoot me messages on my Instagram, TikTok here on YouTube, whichever, on other things you want to learn about me, and I'll be sure to bring it to you in the shortest span I can, because I know we don't like the long videos too much. So yeah, that's me. That's Coach P. Wade. That's my journey, and that's how I came to be where I'm at today. So I appreciate you all watching. Please like, share, and subscribe. I'll catch you next time. I'm out.